Hey guys, how's it going? Max here with Because Bitcoin, and today I just want to do a quick little Twitter snippet on what I'm seeing with Bitcoin, ETH, total crypto, and then I might pick one or two alts, but we're going to try to keep the video short and sweet. So let's jump right into the charts. So let's start here with Bitcoin. So first thing to take note too is that we're basically just sitting here ranging. Every time we have a little like illiquid squeeze up, everybody gets bullish. They start calling for an inverse BART. I don't really, I don't think it's worth even getting too into the weeds or opinionated on it. I mean, we're really just kind of in a range. And as far as I can tell, this is basically our range right here. So to be safe, if you want to try to play this or position and you're not in from much higher or I guess lower to, try to look for some shorts up in this region. And I would suppose, some longs down in that region. But really right now, this is illiquid. This is just terrible chop. Really not a whole lot more to say about that. On the higher time frames, I think something that I'm definitely keeping an eye on um, is this 25K level. So this is probably the most important level on the chart right here, 25K. It was previously our range high, all the way, through here, through end of last year, beginning of this year. We broke out of it, and now this is our second time coming back to retest it. And in my opinion, if we do end up losing this level, we probably come down here, eventually come back to retest high time frame, lower high, and then we actually could move down significantly. So keep an eye on this 25K level. I definitely think it should not be understated how important it is. Let's move over to Ethereum. So something to note about Ethereum, this is basically what I was watching beforehand. This was a range low, say like basically right here. Like this was basically the range that I was playing before we broke down. Um, and you could manipulate it a little bit, like however you want to draw it, but this was more or less the range. This is starting to look a little bit less like a deviation, like this was a deviation, and more of a loss of the range low. So, if we were to flip this and the chart looked like this, I would probably be looking for, if we didn't just, start grinding up like this, which is possible, I'd probably be looking for, a long opportunity like that, which of course would actually be a short opportunity. So a retest of this range low would probably lead me to target something like this. Again, it doesn't have to come back and retest it, but if it did, I'd probably be looking for something like this down in here, and I'd probably be targeting right around here, give or take. So we'll see what happens, but this was, in my opinion, this was a pretty clean range, and it does appear as though we've lost it. So we'll see what happens. There's certainly time for this to end up being a deviation, but it's looking a little bit heavy at the moment. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but just be careful. Like I would say with Bitcoin, one of the more important levels is 25K. I would say with Ethereum, mark this level out like 1717. We can't get back above that, pretty quickly. It's not looking super great. You could maybe bring it even down here, if you wanted to. I like it a little bit tighter, truthfully. Um, I definitely like it a little bit tighter, but this is valid as well, So I would just kind of say within this region right here, like this is, this is a sticky area. This is a very sticky area, no doubt about it. Like you gotta, if you're bullish here, you gotta get back above this area, 1690 to 1720, give or take. Let's move over to total. So one thing that I've been talking about with total for a while is how we're basically, we've just been ranging the entire time. Like Bitcoin managed to break out, Ethereum basically just kind of ranging, but total has basically just been ranging. We've got, multiple deviations above range high, here, here we've got deviation of range low from back in here. But what I'm noticing right now, which is not super great for the bulls, in my opinion, is just kind of this like normie break of trend. I would say that, although sometimes these lines are memes, they do work out in crypto a lot of the time. So if you're going to be bullish, you're going to want to see this reclaim pretty quickly, and you're going to want to see this basically become like, a deviation of that line, or we would maybe consider it just like a bear trap. But, if you are bearish here, I think a pretty obvious level for total to retest would probably be right down in here. I'll just make that blue, I guess. So this would be a pretty valid setup. Like, we really shouldn't get back above here. And you could be targeting somewhere around here. Now, you're not going to actually trade total like a ticker, but this is just sort of to illustrate the weakness that the index of crypto is having right now. We had a pretty substantial rollover here, break of trend, definitely a shift of market structure. And, it's possible that this is a breakout, and we're going to start kind of curling up and, doing something like this, But with that said, if we can get back above this trend line, then, I suppose anything is possible. One more name I'd like to talk about is OP. We're going to start on the really high time frames. This was called out to me by Trader XO. I tagged him in a post about another altcoin. I think it was Sol, and he was like, "You got to add OP to your list." And I have since been short OP, and it's been going very well. So lesson learned: don't fade one of the greats, no question. But in my opinion, I'm looking at OP, and this is basically what I see. It kind of feels like it had its own little mini cycle. It's relatively young, but this feels like, like the test pump, like 2017 pump, bear market, and then like our 2020, 2021 pump. Like, it kind of fit like a whole crypto cycle into like a very short period of time. This is June of 2022. So I'm looking at this right now, and this feels to me like a complacency shoulder. Like, we had our big bubble up, we had our big sell off, complacency shoulder here. And we're kind of just like bracketing in this channel, which is, innately a bearish pattern here as it's moving up. And I just see a lot of lows that, could probably get tagged, like really any of these, like this whole cluster needs to get taken out, in my opinion. So price levels on this would be, 76 cents. And then, like, if things get really nasty, I suppose you could mark down here. But truthfully, I would hope, for the sake of the project, that this demand right here holds. Like, I would think that this should hold at 60 cents. So I'm kind of ruling this out for now. I mean, we'll see where things go, right? Like, you don't want to rule anything out necessarily, but this to me feels like a pretty high time frame bearish structure. So yeah, keeping an eye on this. If we break this, this trend right here, this possible complacency shoulder, I would expect, a pretty quick move, especially if Bitcoin and ETH look weak, kind of down to these levels here. So we'll see what happens for sure, but just figured I would call out that one altcoin. And I know there's definitely some eyes on it, and I can't speak to the fundamentals of it, but this looks like Bitcoin at 42K in my opinion. Here, let me just pull this up at the bottom, and we'll see if we can quickly do this. Let's see, we'll move this up. In my opinion, actually that's not gonna, because this chart doesn't go back far enough. Let me go right here. To me, this feels, OP chart feels like this to me on Bitcoin. Like, it feels very similar to what we saw, like right here. This is that OP complacency shoulder, in my opinion. So going back to OP, I'll just go back and forth quick. Like, you can see probably what I'm talking about here. Like, pretty similar. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll be watching it closely. But yeah, guys, that's it. Just want to do a quick update for you. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time.